over to the Twin Tower Monument, which is located right next to the Food Lion sign on Godwin and whatever the street is along with the CVS.
I'll check that really fast for
Please,
you.
like I said before, just stand on the grass. If you are
Looks
not
like
speaking, police officers, you know what to
Boulevard.
do. Line up straight right next to each other.
This is Kensington Boulevard.
Everest will start off with a speech, and then I'll wrap it up.
Wearing a hat, just do the action. You don't have to like kill yourself and then like come back without a hat. Like just pretend boy and such. I am Corporal Blue with the Suffolk Police Department, and this is my speech for this tragedy that occurred. 9/11 tragedy, where our nation was struck 17 years ago by a terrorist organization. Over 3,000 lives were lost. To this day, there are still people mourning. There are still people who remember the stories, and they're still cultured. On this very day, in memory, to acknowledge the lives lost that fateful day. And I didn't come up with a speech. Anyways, sorry, that was inappropriate. I would like you for coming out here to remember the over 3,000 lives of the 4 planes that had crashed that day.
I'm going to be saying somewhat of a similar speech, but I would like to introduce myself before. I am Officer X-Men with the Suffolk Police Department, and I am an administrator for this community. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out here, especially for Everest, who organized the entire motorcade for such a tragedy that we remember on a Roblox community is really something. 3,000 people lost their lives 17 years ago today from 4 different hijackers. Two planes of which went into the Twin Towers. Basically, the towers, as you can see behind me, they look exactly like this. And another one hit the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, or you could also say that it's in DC.
Actually,
and one,
very close to DC, but not quite.
yeah. I'd like to give a tribute, especially to Flight 93, as the terrorists already hijacked the plane soon after they'd taken off. The crew members and the passengers decided to attack the hijackers with whatever they had on the plane. They boarded that plane as strangers, and they died as heroes. You will never be able to see such I've never heard such a better story that was a real story about heroes like that. I am honestly fascinated into the 9/11 attacks, but I also feel sick that many lives were lost that day. But at least we know some people died as heroes. Some people, they were all probably very precious and humble people. But at least we all know, their family members know, America knows, the whole world knows. They are now in a special place. Thank you. Everest, your mic is muted.
I'd like everyone to go ahead and join me in a moment of silence for the 412 emergency responders that had died while they were trying to respond to this heinous call. Many people were running away from the buildings, but these first responders were going into the tragedy just to help them, just to save as many lives as they can. We'd like you guys to go ahead and give a moment of silence for these men and women in the first response. And yeah, let's go ahead and give them a moment of silence, please. I can't type. What's been had in mind?
I would like to say a prayer over the 3,000 people that lost their lives that day.
Real quick, if you're not religious or you don't like,
We celebrate the 3,000 people that died on 9/11 as we remember them as ordinary strangers, but then we remember them as very special people that passed away through a very dangerous murder. I hope they stay with you, Lord, and they look over the world and think that we have improved, and as citizens and as family members of those who have lost their lives, please help them. Please help the family members that are still grieving over their family members' death. A lot that Everest and I could put on this event, and we know that I screwed up pretty bad, but I thank Everest and all of you that coming out today for supporting Everest and everyone that died on 9/11 for, you know, it's very kind, it's in my opinion, it's kind of cool how we are complete, if you think about it, we are complete strangers across the internet, across the world, and we come online on Roblox to celebrate and remember those who had died on 9/11. This is not just for role-playing purposes. We mean this. At least I hope most of you do. We mean this because sometimes we can't go to other people and remember who died and such things like that.